Hi, Kendra Ruth here for the Hero Spouse, here to answer one of your questions about midlife crisis in your marriage. Today we have Robin. Robin's bomb drop was November of last year, 2020. She has a clinging boomerang and a high energy replayer. Robin asks, how do you deal with dignity in midlife crisis? My husband says that he's had sex with someone else. I think he said it out of spite. I'm not sure. I told him that we can't have sex anymore since he told me that. Less than a week later, he asked me to go on a trip he's taking with the kids on, and he explicitly mentioned having sex. I again said we can't have sex anymore. He suggested an alternative. It's still sex. I replied, why would I do that if someone else is? I said, let me have some dignity in all of this. I said, I told him, don't see me like a complete piece of shit. And he said, I don't see you like that. And he seemed sad. I felt it getting a little tense, so I said, all right, talk to you later. I feel him testing the boundary. How should I respond to this? No cake eating, I know. Thinking he had sex makes it easier for me. But when he keeps pushing, how can I get him to see me without creating more guilt? His dad always cheated on his mom, even now. I thought he was a bucker. I don't know what that means until this year. I'm nervous this is triggering more issues. Okay, well, first thing, I'm not sure about the nervous triggering more issues. This is somebody who, first thing, he really was sad when you told him that, no, we can't have sex. He probably didn't buy into it or believe it when you said that now that you've said you've had sex with someone else. Because you're not saying he has an alienator, but he might, but it sounds like for the last year, because it's been almost a year. It's been a year and 3 days since bomb drop when I'm taping this. And he's not had an alienator according to how you're describing it, because he says he just told you now. And he told you that he's had sex with someone. Well, you hold that boundary. If that is your boundary, it doesn't have to be. I personally agree with the boundary because there are dangers when there's multiple sex partners, but it doesn't have to be. But you hold it. And if you hadn't set that boundary before, then you can't do this. But if you did, you can say, you know what? I told you before this. You started sleeping with someone else. That's it. We are not sleeping together until you recommit. You have to give it an until if you're standing. If you're standing, well, what happens when there's a reconciliation? There's got to be a change, right? And so you're not going to reconcile and hopefully then never have sex again at the same time. That wouldn't be very fair. So he needs to know the out. But he'll need to know what that means. What does recommit mean? And he's not really ready for that, but I want you to have that in mind. It's not just saying it. It's counseling. It's showing evidence. It's transparency. It's changes in how he behaves towards you. A whole litany of things that you would see changing. And then he needs to be given what he has to do, such as, okay, we need to go to counseling, that sort of thing. But we're not there. How do you get your dignity back is you hold that boundary. You don't expect him to accept it. If he does, that's nice. If he doesn't, then he doesn't. It's not his job to accept and give you the dignity. It's your job to have dignity from within. So you hold your head high because you have a boundary. And when you're saying, can't you just stop treating me like a piece of shit? I don't think that's his intention. Given that, and I'm saying that, there are some that would be. They are objectifying. I say that because you said he seemed sad. You didn't say he acted it. You said he seemed sad. That could be very genuine. He didn't understand. He actually, from what you're writing, told you that he had sex. I'm not trying to, give him a pat on the back. I'm pointing out some of them don't do that. Some of them will hide even that. He is testing your boundaries. And so your dignity is the boundary. You hold that boundary. That's how you get your dignity. How do you deal with dignity? You cannot control how he deals with dignity. You can't control that he's going to think, oh, you're just being a bitch because you're trying to get back at me. You're just being mean. You want to have sex with me. You're being vindictive. Well, that's not on you. That's him trying to test a boundary. You're saying it's triggering more issues. Could that also be him trying to test the boundary? Well, if you don't give me this, I'll cause this problem. I'll cause this problem. Boundary testing. He wants to find out where you'll break. And he really wants sex with you, from what it sounds like. So he wants to find out what it's going to take. And you know what you tell him what it's going to take? Well, it's going to take you being an appropriate spouse. It's going to take monogamy. And you and I both know you're not trustworthy regarding monogamy right now. You're not doing it. You're not trying to do it. Even if you weren't sleeping with somebody else, you have been trying to be out of our relationship. You haven't been an appropriate spouse. You've been abusive in an emotional way. And I don't feel emotionally safe having sex with somebody who is not emotionally safe. And yet, I would love to be intimate with you, but not with the person and the monster that you're being right now. So you need to get back or forward. You move forward to the person that you were, to that core person I know is in there, but even better. Yeah. You can tell him, I'm sorry. When you say I'm not going to have sex with you, don't just lash out, because he seems sad. If he were being narcissistic and teasing at you about it and taunting, then I wouldn't go that way. But with the sad, match that emotion with empathy. Match it. I'm really sorry. I can tell that it seems you feel hurt by this. But I'm into monogamy, and this isn't how it works. It doesn't work that you get to go out and not be monogamous while I am. Monogamy means both people. Otherwise, it's polygamy. And I'm not into that. That doesn't mean it's going to go your way in the sense that he's going to understand it or he's going to accept it. How do you deal with dignity? Is you have the dignity, whether they think that or not, whether they treat you with it or not. Dignity is something you give yourself. I hope this was helpful, and I will see everybody in the next question.